everyone, welcome back to another scrapbook layout video, and thank you for joining me again today. So this is like probably my 10th time trying to do this voiceover. So I might not remember everything I have or have not said. I apparently am very out of practice from doing voiceovers, but I want to get this layout up for you guys. This layout I did back in March, so I'm going to try to remember everything I did, but bear with me. I know I followed a sketch, and I want to say it was by Scrapbook Generation, but I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, since I didn't show it on the camera, it was probably a paid for, so it came from one of their sketchbooks. I do try to share, I have started trying to share the sketches if I can tell you what sketchbook they came from. But when it comes to following my sketch, as far as the sketches, I took their sketchbooks apart and put them back together by number of photo. And so and they don't all say what book they came from. So I do apologize that I can't say, oh, it was from, volume 8 or 2 or 1. So I do apologize for that. But if I can help find the book or the sketch, then I will definitely try. I do believe, however, this is a sketch that calls for 10 photos, and I will talk more about that later. This is a sketch I do know, however, that I have never used before. It's such a unique one, and when I was doing the layout, there was parts of it I wasn't that crazy about, but in the very end, and pulling it out now to look at it while I do this voiceover, I love it. I'm so happy with how it turned out. So part of the left-hand side of this sketch called for a 4x6 area, and in that 4x6 area, they basically had the title. So I originally cut that 4x6 dark pink one that you saw me cut a few minutes ago, and I trimmed it down just a little bit, tad smaller than 4x6, but then I came across this 4x4 card. And this 4x4 card says, "Fashion can be bought, style one must possess." And I am scrapbooking more of my daughter's selfies, and I seriously thought that this card was perfect for her because I do not know where she got her sense of style from. It doesn't matter what she's wearing. She looks cute all the time. She has these great outfits. She's got a great sense of style, and I literally have nothing. So I really wanted to use that 4x4 card. But so what I decided basically was that I would cut just a pattern paper down to go into the 4x6 area, and I would just kind of glue it on there from there. I'm going to start with this black and white one, although that is not the one that I'm going to end up using. So along with the sketch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I believe it calls for 7 of these 2-inch by 6-inch strips. So I'm using a lot of the 6x6 pad. I mean, that's perfect for these 2 by 6-inch strips. And you're going to see my original thought was that I wanted each one of the patterns of these papers that I'm using to be different. But when I went to put that fashion style whatever title onto the black and white one, I just kind of didn't really like it. I don't know, the black and white was just a little too much. So I decided to go cut down that one pattern paper that looks like a bunch of paint, like stroke marks. And so that's going to go there instead. And I had already cut down a 2-inch by 6-inch strip with those same paint / marks. So I'm going to end up using the same pattern a couple of different places, which you will see, which is actually okay. It turns out it works out good. So this sketch is a little bit different because along the bottom here, this whole white piece of cardstock is going to be covered up. You could use any kind of cardstock or anything back here, anything that you don't care if it gets covered up. But you can see there's 2 4x6 photos along the bottom, and then they are offset by 2 of those 2x6 strips. And then the top, well, the top calls for 3 4x6 sections along the top, going vertically. The left one is supposed to be the one with the title. You will see in a minute here that I'm going to talk about the photo after I glue these down. I'm going ahead and I'm gluing these down, and I knew that I have 2 more smaller photos that are on the sketch for that little area that's on the very left-hand bottom side. So I did cut another piece of pattern paper that I already had the same strip cut. You can see there's another one in the pile. Well, I kind of decided I had that paint slosh mark pattern paper and on the left-hand side to go behind my title, and I already had a strip on the right-hand side, so it would be okay if I went ahead and did that kind of word pattern paper on the bottom and also have it on the right-hand side. And so for this photo, I believe this photo I had cut down to use on the last layout I did with this collection, but it ended up not making it on there for whatever reason. I can't remember now. So it's cut down to 3.5 by 5. So instead of putting a full 4 by 6 photo there, I ended up just putting that photo there and cutting down another piece of pattern paper. And since I had a polka dot strip on to go on the right-hand side, all those strips that are still there will go on the right-hand side, at least some of them. So now I have 3 of the same patterns on the right-hand side and the left-hand side, and I did start out with thinking they would all be different, but it works out. So when I went to put this photo on here, I was going to put it just nice and straight like it was meant to be, but then I kind of thought, well, if I put it straight and the title block straight, which I did cut that down from 4 by 4 to, I don't really know the size. I just didn't want it to be the full 4 by 4 and take up that whole block. I didn't want it to look too, is symmetrical the right word? You guys, I'm sure you guys know what I'm saying. So these are just a bunch of selfie pictures of my daughter, just her having fun. That one you can see she there's a few of them actually where she put her hair into heart shapes and took pictures and had a friend take some pictures. So these are just fun photos, but I'm really happy that I got them all on this layout. So now I'm going to glue down this photo. I did give it a little bit of a black, one of the pattern papers that's mostly black. I put a mat around it, and then I put that 4 by 4 piece on popped it up with some foam tape. Now for this side, it calls for a 4 by 4 photo and a 4 by 6 photo and all the strips along it. But however, this photo, and I'm going to bring it up to the camera and point it out in a few minutes, there is, for some reason, the format of the photo itself, I don't really know. I think it's one a friend of hers took. It has this like black strip along the bottom, and I didn't want to cut it down. I think they both might have had that black strip. And I didn't want to alter the sketch that much because I wanted the strips to stay the same, and I didn't really want to mess around with all of this. So I'm going to show you basically what I end up doing there, and you can see that black strip now. I ended up cutting that border strip that you can see along the top, and I cut it to be, I think 10 inches because 6 plus 4 is 10, so it must be 10 inches long. And my plan is to go ahead and glue down all these strips, and then I will glue that border strip along the bottom. At this point, I had no idea how it was going to turn out, if I was going to like it or not, but it ends up working out in the end. So if you have something like that or a part of a photo that you need to have covered up, take a look at what you have in your stash and things you could cover it up. So, I mean, I am altering the sketch just a tiny hair by doing that, but not so much that anybody would ever even notice. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly glue down all these strips. I did ink all of my edges with my black Close to My Heart ink. I did it off of camera, and there I'm going to pull it up so you can see that kind of black line. I don't know, but this border strip that I cut from that pattern paper fits over it perfectly. Looking at it, you can see like a tiny bit of the black, probably about like between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch. You can still see of the black, but it turns out you don't even notice it once the entire layout's done. So this sketch, why I said it calls for 10 photos is right now I have 10 photos to put on this sketch. So 2 smaller, about 2 by 2 ones on the left-hand side, and then 2 that are about 4 by 4 to go on the right-hand side. I am going to end up not putting that photo of her on there that has like the blue background. If you can see in the photo she took was her at an angle. And when I cut it down to be 4 by 4, it just didn't look right. like I couldn't tilt it without her looking like straight up, and if I tilted it too much, it looked really funky. And so I am just going to put that photo to the side, and I will probably just scrapbook it another time. I do like that photo, so I might even reprint it and leave it at a full 4x6 and call it good. But the sketch did call for one of the photos on the left-hand side and one of the photos on the right-hand side to have a mat with them, and I think that was a good idea because they needed a little help standing out anyway. So I originally put that one little photo on that black and white paper that matches that strip that's on that side, but I'm going to end up not liking that, and I'm going to add the same dark pink border. So this is the same dark pink patterned paper that I mounted that fashion, whatever fashion can be bought, style must possess. That is the same color or pattern paper that I mounted that on. So now I actually have 3 different places where something is framed with that dark pink pattern paper. I didn't really do that on purpose. I just really liked the way that that dark pink kind of helped those items stand out a little bit. It just made for a good solid, it's not solid, it's got a tiny bit of pattern to it, but it made for a good frame color, if that makes any sense. So, and now technically it's in 3 spots, so it's following the rule of 3s. So this is the point where I decided that other picture just was not going to work. I wasn't too crazy about the blue color that was in it anyway, because that blue color really is nowhere to be found in this collection, so I was okay with leaving it out. So to fill up the space there, however, I am looking at all the different ephemera. I want to say there was a couple different ephemera packs to this collection, and I didn't get both of them. I will leave a link below to this collection if I can find it. It is a really fun collection. Anybody you know who likes shopping or anything like that, anybody who's got style, any young teenage girls, anything like that would work great with this collection. So I did find that border sticker, and I really wanted to use it, and it says, "Real style is never right or wrong. It's a matter of being yourself on purpose." And I like how that dark black, it's kind of like a secondary title is kind of the way I'm looking at it. I'm going to add a few things around on this layout that has word phrases, and so I don't really consider this layout to have any certain title. I did pull out this tag, and it says, put on some lipstick and live a little, and I liked that one. I thought that was just kind of fun for these photos, you know, because she's just having fun and being playful in these photos, so I really liked that little tag. And you guys know me, if I can use a tag, then that's great. But because I am using a tag, I decided that it needed something. I don't like to leave tags with that little hole, whatever you call that hole on tags. I don't like to leave that empty. I had some thin ribbon, but I didn't really want to pull it out. So what I decided to do, which I don't usually remember, but I'm trying to be a little better about using my border punches, or not just border punches, punches in general lately, and my dies. I've just been trying to, you know, keep in the mindset of using those. So I remembered I had this bow punch, and this is a great punch. If I can find it, I will link below to it too. I do believe a couple people might have also found it at Tuesday morning, although probably can't go to any Tuesday mornings right now, so maybe the link will help. Anyways, so I put it there. I made a little bow with that same dark pink that I used to mount the 2 photos in the title box, and it looks really cute. I was so happy when I made that bow. It was like the perfect size. So now I'm going to play around with a couple of different elements to go, kind of make a little cluster area here. I found this little pink purse. I really liked it. I really wanted to use some of these makeup, you know, like the mascara and the lipstick, but they were kind of big for what I wanted to put there. So I ended up going with just a purse and a teal nail polish bottle or whatever. So this part of the layout here is what I didn't like for a while, but now, like I said, looking at the layout now, I don't even pay attention to this part so much. It did have, this was part of the sketch, and it did have some elements to it on the sketch, but I don't know, I wanted to use that spoil yourself tag. I thought it would go really good there. And actually looking at it like that on the camera, it does look pretty cute, but at the time I didn't like it. I tried to use some of these shoes because, again, excuse me, that's something that I would normally struggle with using. So if I can use something like that, I will definitely try to get it used up. But it just, at the time, I wasn't feeling it. So what I'm going to do, I find this banner, and this banner says Glamour. And again, you guys know me, I struggle with banners. So I kind of liked the way that it looked, because it kind of filled in a lot of this spot here that on that black and white pattern paper. So I'm going to add like 2 pieces of foam tape behind it, and then a couple of glue dots behind the other parts of it. So you probably can't really tell on the screen, but in person that banner has a lot of movement to it. And I added the glue dots because I really wanted to make sure, I didn't want it to unstick and have the whole banner be sticking up. And so if I want it to be like that, then I will add glue dots because that really helps the sticker stay stuck down. And then I just have kind of moved on. I added that makeup brush next to the title box and the glasses. I thought that those just looked really cute there. I really liked the way that looked. Oh, actually, I was going to say I need to cut that makeup brush off just a hair, and I actually have even forgotten to do that looking at the layout now. So I will, after I do this voiceover, trim off that little bit of that makeup brush. I was worried about trimming off the makeup brush, but I don't think it will really matter when, you know, in the long run. I made a little cluster down in the bottom left by those 2 photos. One, I popped up on some foam tape a little thing that says, it's a girl thing, and then I added a couple flowers. And because I added a couple flowers in that area and I really liked the way they looked, I thought maybe I would try adding some flowers over here on the right hand side. And I really like the way those flowers look above that photo. And I'm not really at this point paying any attention whatsoever to like the rule of thirds or a triangle or any of those things. I'm just kind of playing around. I did add, I found that little ephemera piece that says life is too short to wear boring clothes that I put above the title box. And I really like that. I kind of was looking for different teal things to put around since I had that nail polish on the right hand side. Oh, and this, I have to say, I am loving my new way of storing my enamel dots. I have a video about it if you guys are interested, but I was looking for some pink enamel dots and I found these 2 butterflies. I only had 2 left and I didn't even care. You know, again, I wasn't paying attention to the rule of 3s, but I put those 2 butterflies on there in a couple different spots and I loved it and I used those up. Now, if I would have had them in the way I used to store my enamel dots, I probably would have never used those enamel or those butterflies. They would have probably been at the bottom of the box. So I was so happy about that. The only thing, the still shot photos are coming up. The only thing I did add above the fashion title was another one of those bows. I thought that it would kind of help bring that bow over, and you can see it right there. And some of the enamel dots that were pink that kind of matched the butterflies. So thank you all for watching. I will see you next time and have a great day, everyone. Bye.